This is a mineral called pyrite, and it kind of looks fake, but it's actually completely natural. Pyrite's also sometimes called fool's gold, and it's able to form in a few different ways, but I think that this cube form is the most interesting. What I find weird is that it's shiny and cold like a metal, but it's not a metal at all. It's also very brittle, and it can break quite easily. A couple weeks ago, I bought this online, and it looks like a generic piece of metal. However, it cost me close to $1,000, and if you held it, you'd immediately notice something weird. It feels abnormally heavy, and this is because it's osmium, which is the densest element. It's even denser than gold, and it's about twice as dense as lead. It's also extremely hard to find osmium in nature, and it's one of the rarest elements on Earth. What I have here just looks like a generic rock that you might see at the side of the road. However, it's quite rare because it doesn't even come from this planet. It's a chunk of a meteorite that came from space, and it's magnetic because it's made of mostly iron and nickel. In its whole and intact form like this, I think it's pretty cool, but it isn't super beautiful. So what people do is cut it into thin slices to show what it looks like on the inside. This is the best slice that I have, and you can see that it's a mixture of a metal and a mineral. The metal, as I mentioned before, is a mixture of nickel and iron, and the transparent mineral is called olivine. What I have here just looks like a generic rock, but it's actually kind of dangerous. This is because all the white stuff is a bunch of asbestos, which is notorious for causing lung cancer. What I've always thought was interesting, though, is how soft and fluffy it is, and how easy it is to pull off. It also looks and feels a lot like cotton, and it really doesn't seem very dangerous. On the microscopic scale, though, it's actually a bunch of sharp silica-based needles, and if I breathe in any of this, it'll probably never leave my lungs. This little multicolored rock is covered with something called amylite, and it kind of looks similar to opal. However, unlike opal, which is just a mineral, this is actually a fossil. It comes from an extremely old and extinct group of animals called ammonites, and these are just small pieces of its fossilized shell. This is actually one of the full-size shells, and this one isn't as flashy, but there are some small areas with some color. What's interesting about this one, though, is what it looks like on the inside. It has a really interesting spiral pattern where each section gets smaller and smaller. It isn't known for sure why it's like this, but I think it's pretty cool.